So here's an explanation of how to use the paper Enigma machine as designed by Michael Koss. So here's how it starts when you first print it out, and all I've already done to get us started is I've cut out these three rotors, and I've actually also cut grooves in here so I could stick the rotors in. I just feel that that's the easiest way so that I can still see the instructions below it, and I could do the different movements that he describes. So first thing, I'm just going to put them in order, rotor 1, 2, 3, from left to right. Okay, so let me get those in there. Alright. Now, in the explanation of Enigma, there's basically you have to start out with a certain setting. So the setting we're going to put in this top row, and he says here in the example, the initial setting for 1, 2, 3 is MCK. So that's the order from the left. So I'm going to put the top at M. The second one is going to be C. And then the last one is going to be K. I did print this on heavier stock paper just to make it a little easier, but you could do it on regular paper too. It doesn't really matter. Okay. So I'm going to follow through the instructions. This is what he's calling the notch. So anytime that's in the top row, you move that rotor and the rotor to the left up one row. However, you always move this right one. So there's a little notch there to remind you of it. So before we do anything, we're going to move that up. So basically here he's telling you that E encodes to Q, and we're going to do that, and then we're going to decode it also. So the first thing we do is move the right rotor up one. Always move the right rotor up one. Okay, now let's track the E. E, if I move to the left, is an E. Now I find the corresponding E on that same rotor. So that's down here. I slide across to the next rotor, which is a Y. I find the Y on the other side. Then I track across to the next rotor, which is a V. I find the corresponding V, which is here. Slide across to the reflector. The reflector sends it back to the input-output. So J, I maps to J. Slide across, it happens to be another J. And then another J. Now I'll move back to the middle rotor at a P. And then P, find the other P, across to a D, go across to a D, and there's your output Q, just like they said. We can do that the same way the other way, Q to D, across to the P, find the other P, J to J to J to J, V, V, Y, wherever the other Y is, there it is, E, E, and we're back to our original E. I know I did the decoding a little fast because that's what we had kind of done it the other way. So let's go to the next letter to decode, M. So the first thing, if you remember, I need to slide this rotor up one. So it went from L last time, so now it's at M. So the top should now read M, C, M. So let's decode this M. M, right next to that is Q. We find the other Q. The Q across in the middle is R. Find the R. R goes to K. K to K. To A. To A. M. M. S. Find the S to O, and out comes an N. So we have EN. I'm going to slide it up again and do the next one. So now we're at N. So it's now J, J to U, to B, to B, T, T, across to D. I'll make sure that's still lined up. I think it is. Find the other D is up here. P. P, looking for P. J, J, across to M, M, and out comes an I. E, N, I. I'm going to leave the rest for you guys to do, but you should, when you do it, a good check to find out the first three is E, N, I, and don't forget, before you start the I, move it up again. I'm going to give you one more example here. I'm not going to do a letter, but just show what happens. So if you've just decoded it, and it's at this point, at the next stage when you do another letter, you have that there. So then that's when both of these come up. So this would come up to the W, and that's when this one would come to a D. Okay?